Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets which you can download in US letter or A4, and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find out about the books that I have. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best be prepared for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time come exam day. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel and do share out the videos. And now we're going to make a start of the 2019 Grade 4 Paper S. So if you turn with me to page 22, we can have a look at this together. And as I always say, have a go of this on your own. First of all, it doesn't matter if you go wrong, you can always just erase any mistakes. Always work in pencil and then you can just rub out, and you will learn much more thoroughly by making your mistakes rather than just by passively copying through. So I'm hoping you've done that, and now we will look at this together. So the questions are going to be relating back to this little extract here, and our first job is to check off the correct definitions for these musical terms. And so don't forget, these musical terms could now include anything from grades 1, 2, 3 and 4 combined. So there's a lot of revision there. And if you look at the last pages in your PDFs, look at the last page in each of the grades, and I've given you either a little test so you can just test yourself, or I've given you some revision techniques in the previous grades as well. So do make use of those. Excuse me. And now we'll look at this. So tempo commodo, well, tempo is time, and then commodo, if you think, it's like commodious, which is comfortable, so at a comfortable speed is the definition there. So just finding ways of remembering these, seeing the root word meanings, or finding bizarre word associations, whatever it is that helps you to just catch hold of the meaning of each of these terms. So morendo, well, morendo, I remember from studying French at school, l'amour, dead, or morbid, all these sort of deadly terms, as it were. So dying away isn't so difficult to remember there. Now then, moving on to the next question, we're asked to rewrite bar 7 in compound time, but without changing the rhythmic effect. So we're going to have to change the time signature and then adjust the notes accordingly. So let's see what we've got to start with. So we're in common time at the moment, which is 4 beats per bar, and each beat is a crotchet or a quarter note, 4/4. And so in order to convert that to compound time, we still need to keep 4 beats per bar. Still needs to stay in quadruple time, otherwise we're changing the musical effect. But to make it into compound time, it divides into groups of 3, not groups of 2, so we have to add a dot, because we've gone from simple time, which divides into groups of 2, to compound time, which divides into groups of 3. So we're going to have 4 groups of 3 quavers, 3/8 notes. And so our time signature, if you think 1, 2, 3, 4, is 12/8. So that's our time signature, and so that's the hard bit done. So now to change the bar, so bar 7, it's this bar that we're doing. What we need to do is we just add a dot. Now we could add dots here. You could do dotted notes, or even easier than that, use a duplet to stretch it 2 into the time of 3. Add a dot, add a dot. So that's that thinking done. Now we've just got to write it out. So we want no thinking to worry about with stems, we're just copying what's there. So you could do that, or you could put dots, either way, it's up to you. And that completed group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. There we go, that's correct. Now then, is it true or is it false that the melody begins with an upbeat, an anacrusis? So there should be 4 beats per bar, but we can see this first beat by no means has 4 crotchet quarter note beats. It's just got 1 quaver, 1/8 note. The remaining 3.5 beats is made at the end, and so that is an upbeat. So the statement is true, and that's because the accent falls on the first beat of the bar and the composer wants and 1, the accent there, and that is usually reflected in subsequent phrases, which it is there. So there we go, that's true. And then we are asked to rewrite the last note of bar 3. There's a little arrow, we'll look at that in a second, so that it sounds at the same pitch, but we've got to use the alto clef. So we've got to change the clef and then readjust the key signature position to suit that clef. So then, we need alto clef centered around that middle line, and then the key signature 3 sharps, C, D, E, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and then let's see what note we're going to be looking at. So we need to make sure we stay in exactly the right octave. So here is middle C at the top of the bass clef. If you remember, if you just look, the bottom of the treble, the top of the bass, middle C meets in the middle. So it's the D below that, 1, 3, 5, 7 below that, and then sharpen it. So we are counting from middle C, 1, 3, 5, 7 takes us to the ledger line, and then sharpen that. So there we go, we know we're in the right octave there. And if you wanted to double check, you know, C, B, A, G, F, E is the space, D is the line, so we know we're correct there. And then finally we asked, how many demi-semiquavers or 32nd notes is the first note in bar 8? There's a little star, so what have we got in 8? So we've got a minim, a half note here. So let's just diagram that out. So we know that a minim, well, I'm just going to save space actually. I'm going to start off with a crotchet because a minim divides into 2 crotchets. I'm just going to do a crotchet, a quarter note, just to save space. So that divides into 2/8 notes, 2 quavers, which divides into 4 semiquavers, 4 16th notes, which divides again into 8 demi-semis. So that's 1 crotchet, 1 quarter note's worth, and we need double that, so 8 times 2 is 16. So that's worth 16 32nd notes, demi-semiquavers. There we go, that's that question completed. I do hope that's helpful to you. I hope it's helpful to your studies. I hope you're enjoying getting to grips with the subject. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated, and please do share out the videos. And also, please do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.